Hello! This video is brought to you by the Children's Services Council of Palm Beach County, the South Florida Science Center and Aquarium, PNC Grow Up Great, Palm Beach State College, and the Institute of Excellence in Early Care and Education. This video is going to be talking about boat building and how different materials are going to sink or float depending on what you use, how you make them, and of course everything while being introduced into containers of water. So let's go ahead and begin. The materials you'll need for this activity include aluminum foil, clay or Play-Doh, marbles, pennies, any small toys that are safe for the kids' age, tape, glue, pipe cleaners, craft sticks, and definitely paper towels to clean up with. This activity can be all done in one day, or you can spread it out into a couple of days. You want to make sure that the kids have a choice of either working with a group or working alone. You want to start off with reading a book that has something to do with boats, and then have a discussion with the kids about why things sink and why things float. If you're going to do this over multiple days, each day give a child something different to work with. So the first day could be working with the clay or the Play-Doh, the second day could be using the aluminum foil to make the boats, and the third day you can add all the extra stuff that you have for them that will help them make their boat a little bit more exciting. This activity does build on some of your Florida Early Learning and Developmental Standards. We've got mathematical thinking with measurement and data. We've also got scientific inquiry with physical science, and of course scientific inquiry with engineering and technology. We're also going to focus on some of your building blocks of STEAM, including investigating, number and measurement, problem solving, creativity, forces, energy, tools, shape, and classifying objects. For the boat building activity, you want to start off by giving the kids a little bit of Play-Doh to work with, depending on how big your students are. Have them roll it into a ball originally. This will kind of help them get a good feel for the Play-Doh. Then have them smush it. If you want to work straight with the aluminum foil, you can do that. I'm just working on it. Have them try to make a type of raft. Ask them to try to make a square or a rectangle shape with their Play-Doh. You're going to be exploring how the different shapes are able to float or sink in the water. Once you have that, you want to go ahead and introduce this to the water. You should already have a couple different containers available for the kids to dump their Play-Doh or aluminum foil boats into there. So I have one here. Let's move that out of the way, bring this here. Depending on what kind of shape raft they made with their Play-Doh, it'll either be really thick or really thin. You want to expand upon how this can help your Play-Doh sink or float. So when you put it in there, have them place it, not necessarily throw it or drop it in there. When you place it in there, most likely the Play-Doh is going to sink immediately, and that's okay. Have them take it back out. The Play-Doh will be very slimy when you take it out, so that's what the paper towels are going to be for when you're cleaning up. If you're already moving on to the aluminum foil, give them a small piece of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be really large. And have them make, again, the same kind of square or rectangular shape that they made with the Play-Doh. So if you have a sheet like this, have them fold down the edges. These boats don't have to be anything crazy. They just have to be something that will be able to hold a little bit of weight. And once they have those edges folded down, have them kind of make walls. You pull the fourth one up. Again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you make yourself a kind of little boat with some walls, which will help keep the inside dry. So again, you're talking about the difference between sinking and floating, and how flatter things will probably work a little bit better than more concave stuff. Then you're going to introduce that into the water. And with your aluminum foil, most likely, if they've made good enough walls, the boat will float on top of the water, and this is where you can kind of expand a little bit further onto whether or not you want to add other stuff to it. I happen to have a rubber ducky, and if you put a rubber ducky on your boat, it's going to sink, or excuse me, it's going to float, which works really cool. And then you can also try using those pennies that were in our materials list, and you can add those, see if it still floats with that. You could try putting any other supplies also on your boats to see just how much weight your boat is going to hold, and of course have the kids share the supplies and take turns putting one thing in at a time, not dumping it all in there, or they will make a giant mess. While you're doing the activity, you can ask a couple expanding questions for the kids to kind of get more out of it. You can ask them, what can you do to make your boat float better? Why did you decide on that specific type of boat? What was the hardest part about building? What do you think will happen if? Why do you think the boat sank or float? And then how do you think this will make the boat float a little bit better? At the end of the activity, you can also expand upon it and go a little bit further. You could try finding leaves that float very similar to boats. You could try doing a penny holding contest. You could also try making boats instead out of Legos or some different material. You could try making a sailboat, so making the kids make it larger and a little bit different. And you could always have them just decorate the boat too. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this helps you guys be able to better facilitate the class for your early learners.